Hello my soccer universe. This Champions League week started out quite interestingly. Tuesday was very entertaining, mainly because I didn't have any particular rooting interest, but also because the matches were quite nice as well. And I was quickly downed by Wednesday. First, a horrendous penalty call that cost Atalanta at least a draw in Bruges. And then Milan, completely shocked me with a rather flat performance at a really spirited Feyenoord team. And also the other two matches in there were not that heartwarming. Yes, Bayern probably should have won by more. Monaco against Benfica was not a game that I paid particular attention to. So let's jump right into it and let's review what was happening in these 8 games. As usual, Brest showed a lot of heart and spirit, however in the end PSG proved to be too much. Yes, Ajax could have given Brest an early lead when he blocked the Donnarumma kick out, however that went wide, but that was maybe the only really good chance by Brest, but that proved to be only a flash in the pan. When then a hands penalty was given that Vitinho converts, the writing was on the wall, and if you don't defend Dembélé very well, assist by Hakimi ahead of the 2-0 in the 45th minute, you're gonna give away goals. True, Brest did hit the woodwork a few times, but Doué also had a goal disallowed for offside. Brady Bacola had a one-on-one with the Brest goalie, and then Dembélé in the 66th makes it 3-0, and then it was just a procession to see it out, and I think we could already forego the return leg at the Parc des Princes, but maybe there's a famous comeback in there for the surprise team of this year's Champions League. Another messy performance by Juventus, but crucially another win, huge one for Motta, which actually puts now Juventus in a good spot to advance to the round of 16. Early on, I thought that Juve were slightly better, however once the nerves had settled, PSV had a few interesting opportunities to potentially take the lead. However, the lead then came through a thunderous shot by Weston McKennie when Gatti intercepted a ball, runs into the box, and his cross and is cleared towards McKennie, who more or less one times it into net, a really great goal. However, PSV not to be undone that easily, and Perisic in the 56th minute gets a really nice equalizer. You could see all his class in that action. But Motta had already reacted in the halftime break. He brought Mbangula, then later on Conceição and Thuram and Koopmeiners as well. And it was then Juventus who had a little bit more of the game, and in the end, especially after Vlahovic came on, there was a little bit more threat for the PSV defense as well. It's an Mbangula who converts on a tap in for Juve's 2-1. Not only was it the marquee fixture of this round, but it also, I would argue, was the best fixture. City against Real Madrid, or as the two coaches say, it's kind of a classic on a European level at this moment, as they meet for the 4th season in a row, but this time only to qualify for the round of 16, and they were the 2 top favorites ahead of the season. Tells you how far they have fallen in the league phase. It was a really entertaining game, and I would say for most of the time Real Madrid were the better team and played actually quite some interesting stuff, but the game was also weird in the sense that whenever one team was good, the other team was scoring. That really did not make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it happens. Real Madrid came really outstorming, had some great chances. Vinny Jr., who was of course taunted by the Etihad crowd with a banner showing Rodri with the Ballon d'Or, created quite a few chances, but then it is a deep ball, the Guardiol, chests down to Erling Haaland, makes it 1-0 in the 19th minute. But Real Madrid themselves also came close to an equalizer, especially when Vinny Jr. just hit the crossbar. In the second half, they get the equalizer when Ceballos' cross is shinned by Mbappe into the net. A really weird goal. I mean, it should have been a goal, but the way he went onto it and the way it came off his shin, it looked absolutely odd. But it is the 1-1. It was all that Real Madrid deserved. And then while Real Madrid then were pushing for the win, they give away a penalty for a foul. I think on Foden, it came on in the first half for Grealish, and Erling Haaland converts for a second goal. And with 10 minutes to go, you really thought, City is gonna get a win here, or at least not lose. But this is a new City that can't lose out of no time. Rodrigo was taken off. Brahim Diaz came on, and wouldn't you know it, after Vinny shot this parry, it is then Brahim Diaz who actually gets the equalizer duly known, celebrating because of his past with Manchester City. And then it seems like he goes for a draw, but again, City not defending well. Vinny Jr. gets on the ball, Ederson comes out too quickly, Vinny Jr. goes past him, tries to take a shot, the shot doesn't really go on goal, but it's Bellingham then who slides it home to make it 3-2 in stoppage time. Huge win for Real Madrid, who were adamant that they are not through yet. However, this was a big one, and for once Real Madrid returned from the Etihad with the advantage. I cannot tell you how much Dortmund's 3-0 win at Sporting annoyed me. Why did it annoy me so much? Well, yes, I was of course rooting a little bit more for Sporting, but that was not it. It was that in the first half Dortmund didn't get a foot on the field and Sporting failed to capitalize on that one. They had plenty of chances, none really big, but Dortmund were not there and were lucky to go into the break with a 0-0 draw. However, then a Julian Brandt cross is headed in by Guirassy with a nice looping header over the goalie, and then the floodgates opens for Sporting. Out of nowhere, they lose 3-0. Guirassy cross, nice cross in that Gross, then with his thigh gets over the line, and Karim Adeyemi, after a nice run, also makes it then 3-0. A score that was way too high, but more or less seals the deal already for last season's finalists. Atalanta suffer an absolutely galling defeat in Bruges on the return of Charles de Ketelaere to his parent club. It's a 2-1 loss that doesn't really reflect how the game went. Yes, early on Atalanta maybe have underestimated Club Brugge, who can hurt opponents as we've seen in the league phase. And if you make mistakes like Ian playing it over to Posch, who wants to take the ball along and then is intercepted by Taibi, who plays the Jutkla for the opener, yeah, that will hurt you. However, Atalanta then felt themselves into the game, though it was a little bit out of nowhere that they got the equalizer through Pajalic after a Zappacosta cross in the 41st minute. However, in the second half, Atalanta made the changes, exerted tons of pressure, especially Zappacosta had a pretty big chance to get the lead, but there were others as well. It seemed like it's inevitable that Atalanta will take the lead in Bruges, and then the lead fell to Club Brugge thanks to an absolutely ridiculous penalty. Ian wants to fend off Nielsen by putting his arm out. However, Nielsen is such a huge guy that he's hit in the face, kinda on the neck. I don't really think it was that bad, but he duly falls down. It's immediately a penalty. I thought it was an absolute bogus call, but it is a call that will never be overturned by VAR, and so in the end it's Nielsen himself who taps it home for the winner. Coach Gasparini was so incensed the jacket came off. He went down the hall, and afterwards the Atalanta players really were absolutely hot. I think this might have ignited them for a big return win in Bergamo. For all the dominance that Bayern exerted during the match, especially for the first 60 minutes, they have little to show for from their trip to Glasgow. True, Celtic took the lead through Nicholas Kuhn. However, there was a clear obstruction from an offside position during that shot. So yeah, but then whenever I look at the game, and it was not my full focus on that one, it seems like Bayern are about to score. There was combinations around the box here and there. They just didn't take shots, or if they took shots, it was rather meek. I think the biggest chance came through Harry Kane, who headed from a very promising position directly onto Schmeichel. But then it is Olise who just yanks it in from the edge of the box with a truly stunning goal. And then on a Kimmich corner in the 49th minute, Kane is completely forgotten on the backside of the post, and that's despite Celtic playing a man-to-man defense. However, then it seemed like Bayern want to cruise, focus on the big game against Leverkusen on the weekend and see the game home. So they let Celtic a little bit in. Maeda already should have scored when he had an open net, but he put it a little bit wide, but he gets a goal in the 79th minute, and then Bayern were really on the back foot and had to see this one out. Still, they get out with a win, and you will be hard-pressed to say that Celtic will have a chance in Munich. In what was billed as a battle of equals ahead of the game, Benfica get a rather big 1-0 away win at Monaco, thus improving their chances vastly to move on to the round of 16. This was a game that got worse and worse the longer it went on. Early on, Monaco had a couple of chances, nothing big, but then the longer it went on, the more Benfica got into the game, and they then take the lead through Pavlidis from a really acute angle in the 48th minute, and just a few minutes later it gets even worse because after a foul Al-Musrati from Monaco wants to see a yellow card and is yellow carded for that one and is sent off since it was his second booking. Then Benfica more or less saw it out. There was not much coming from Monaco. Notable also, Di Maria had come on in the 67th minute only to be substituted with an injury again 20 minutes later. Man, this Milan team know how to be a buzzkill. I mean, all the good vibes after deadline day that came, especially after winning against Roma and the second half showing at Empoli, although the first half was already a little taste what we got now in Rotterdam. All gone. I mean, a rather lackluster overall performance ends with a 1-0 defeat in Rotterdam to Feyenoord. And I would even argue it was not entirely undeserved to lose that one, although probably a 1-1 draw would better have reflected that game. And it's funny to say, Milan started out brightly. There was a great Reinders shot that should have given them a lead, but immediately from that action, Peixao runs on the left side, takes a shot from a little bit outside, and Mike Maignan cannot control it, puts it into his own net. This is a shot that he should have easily saved, but yes, it was a wet surface. The weather, especially in the first half, was really atrocious. However, what followed was a rather lively game, but not many tangible things coming from Milan. Feyenoord knew that they had to just hang a little bit deeper, and that will give Milan problems, especially when not every one of the attacking four are working hard. And I'm looking here at Leao, and I'm looking a little bit at Joao Felix. Joao Felix probably was a little bit the better one of the two, although Leao always has some talent there, but he also got the crowd riled up when at one point he was falling in the box where it seemingly is injured, but when he sees that the play develops, he of course gets up and takes then a shot onto goal, and from that moment on he had the boos on his side. And the game was then on such a knife's edge that while I thought the equalizer is in there already in the first half, there were the chances there. I think the best chance for Milan fell late in the second half when Leao suddenly had a one-on-one with the goalie. However, Reed caught up with him and got the ball away from his feet, which is not very typical. I usually see Leao running away from his defender, so this was also something that was rather unusual. But on the other hand, Feyenoord easily could have doubled it as well. I mean, Peixao hit the top of the crossbar with a shot as well, and it was always last-ditch saves by the defense. But yeah, especially Pavlovic did really good in defense. But second half then, the first half was really lively. The second half then got worse and worse the longer the game went on. Also, as the rain kind of settled down. I don't want to say that Milan didn't try, but there were a few times when they were caught out on transition as well. So there need to be some last-ditch saves. Conceição then tried to bring on some fresh faces, Chukwueze, Tammy Abraham, and also Camarda. However, a little came from that. And so, yeah, it's a disappointing result that puts now Feyenoord in the driver's seat. They only need to get the draw at the San Siro. And if Milan should win, and even a win is probably not enough because you need to win by 2 goals, and this Feyenoord defense is relatively hard to break down. Really galling, and if Milan cannot get past this round, I think you can safely say that this season is already a huge disappointment. So of course with these results it's interesting to see how are the chances. Well, if we go through it match by match, Club Brugge slight edge now over Atalanta, although I see Atalanta winning this one. Borussia Dortmund, of course, huge favorites to move on. Real Madrid similarly with an away win, you will always move on. Also true for Bayern. So these three should be more or less foregone conclusions. Juve also hold a big advantage thanks to their good rating. However, PSV could hurt Juve. We saw that already in the first leg, while Milan have really a steep hill to climb. I don't think this is an easy win at all against Feyenoord. I'm actually trembling a little bit ahead of this one. I see a huge disaster coming up. PSG more or less through, and Benfica also looking rather strong. So PSG and Benfica strong favorites. Those two will face Barcelona or Liverpool. Dortmund more or less through, and then the winner out of Club Brugge and Atalanta, most likely Atalanta will have to face Lille or Aston Villa, so interesting as well. Then Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid will have to face most likely either Bayern Munich or Manchester City, and I'm not sure what I want to see. Do you want to see let's say Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are going through? Do you want to see a German and a Spanish duel, or do I want to have it mixed up? In either way, it's rather interesting. And then we most likely will get an Italian duel, although with Milan faltering and Juve also not being that strong, those chances have decreased. In fact, Serie A have all but squandered their chances for that 5th spot, with Spain still racking up the points and the Italian teams not living up to the expectations. That is a crucial moment at the moment for that race. Premier League already more or less have sewn up their 5th spot. But let's say Juve and Milan go through. Well, let's say Juve and Feyenoord go through. They will face either Arsenal or Inter. I don't necessarily want to see Juve against Inter, although there's a whole lot of emotion surrounding that fixture. With PSG, one of the likely candidates to face Liverpool, Liverpool actually fell down in the ranking, whereas Arsenal rose a little bit because, some weaker team Feyenoord might slip through, although this is not an easy draw. So Arsenal at the moment are the favorites to win the Champions League according to my model. Inter just lagging a little bit behind. Real Madrid got actually a huge boost because they are now huge favorites to move on. Milan have fallen all the way to 17th. I'm not saying they can win. I'm just saying they have the talent up front to do something. Speaking of doing something, the team that I'm wearing, PSG, are more or less through to the next round. I think are a hugely dangerous opponent. Yes, they will have to face Barcelona or Liverpool, but this will be a true test for either of these teams. If PSG continue playing as they were playing, and yes, the results came mostly against either inferior opposition or opposition that is not very self-assured, like Manchester City. So yeah, we have to see how it is against an opponent that is in good form. But is Liverpool currently in good form, and how much do we rely on Barcelona? And there is definitely some needle between those two as well. So yeah, we gotta see, but it will definitely be interesting to see whoever PSG will be facing. The return fixtures will happen in reverse order from what we had this week. First one will be Milan against Feyenoord, so the pain will go away almost immediately, I guess, or it will persist, of course. Then we have Atalanta Club Brugge, Bayern against Celtic, and of course Benfica hosting Monaco. This will be probably the less interesting evening, although the way that the results have gone on Tuesday, Borussia Dortmund against Sporting, foregone conclusion, I don't think we need to really watch that one, and PSG against Brest also. But PSV against Juventus, I think this could be an interesting one, and the Real Madrid against Manchester City always are entertaining games, so at least get your popcorn for that one. Well, that was it from me from a, in the end, bitter Champions League week. Well, the Italian teams, and especially my Milan, not really putting glory on themselves. One win and 2 losses, and the 2 losses were rather galling up in the Low Countries. But even Juventus's win was not filling me with a whole lot of confidence. So yeah, my Serie A soul is a little bit hurting there. However, it is also placated by the great game between City and Real Madrid, but also a really good-looking PSG, although one shouldn't like PSG at the moment. But yeah, even Bayern, I think, was enjoyable at times, but all of these teams are not very, convincing either. So I don't think we have seen the winner among these, although Real Madrid might tell us otherwise. In any case, let me know your thoughts on these games in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!